This is my old spot where I used to sleep. Every night I used to sleep here. Kept myself to myself. I became, when I was on the streets, like a little bit of a recluse. Just kept myself away from people.
It's pretty devastating and nasty, and no clean clothes, no nothing. I went back out in the streets again, still having the short breath and walking, and so again 911 is called.
A night in Los Angeles or New York unfolds beneath the glittering lights of skyscrapers. Yet tens of thousands of people are preparing to sleep on sidewalks, under overpasses, in subway corners, or inside parked cars, sitting silently in the dark. Not everyone lost their way. Many simply slipped out of stability because of a medical bill, a lost job, or rent rising by a few $100s. Once there is no address, everything unravels quickly. Job applications become harder, lack of sleep erodes mental clarity, documents are easily lost, and every night becomes a survival test. In this video, the Homeless Fact will present that reality honestly, so you can understand what is happening in some of the wealthiest cities in the world. If you want to continue following stories like this, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Sometimes a kind word is enough to warm someone's night. Cold nights under city lights. Los Angeles and New York glow brilliantly at night, yet many still prepare to sleep outdoors. Tents, flattened cardboard, subway benches, or wind-shielded alcoves become temporary bedrooms. In Manhattan, subway trains serve as improvised heating systems. Skid Row stands just blocks away from luxury apartments, exposing the raw boundary between locked doors and plastic tarps. When night falls, they are not weighing comfort. They are weighing safety and the reasons that brought them there. Most do not end up on the streets because of a single mistake, but because of a chain reaction. Medical debt, job loss, rising rent, domestic violence, a missed paycheck. Losing an address means losing leverage. Finding work becomes harder. Documents go missing. Chronic sleep deprivation slows reactions and increases risk. After just a few sleepless nights, morale drops and survival tips begin circulating quietly among those in the same situation. Keeping watch in the dark. When night deepens, people experiencing homelessness stay alert to every signal. Footsteps that pause, the sound of belongings being touched. In tent encampments, shopping carts are tied to poles, bags are stacked as makeshift barriers, and people take turns staying awake. Losing a blanket means hours of shivering, so many choose spots near streetlights or security camera places where at least there is visibility. That vulnerability pulls them into the open, even though light also increases the chance of being noticed. For those sleeping in cars, everything becomes discipline. Arrive late, leave early, rotate parking spots to avoid tickets or dawn knocks on the window. Gasoline becomes rent, and a slightly cracked window is a trade-off between being able to breathe and being seen. In New York, many ride the subway through the night, trying to blend in as passengers, clutching backpacks as if holding on to their lives. When morning comes, fear does not disappear. It simply shifts into a race to find water, food, and a temporary place to exist. The sidewalk rhythm. In major cities, meals arrive according to distribution schedules, not hunger. People line up early, clutching their bags, because arriving a few minutes late can mean missing a meal entirely. Those with enough strength collect cans and bottles, exchanging them for a few dollars to buy something warm, knowing that cold food in freezing weather drains body heat quickly. Many are not driven by cravings. They are driven by the fear of being weaker tomorrow. And once the stomach is temporarily settled, other needs immediately surface. After midnight, restrooms close, clean water becomes scarce, and bathing is sometimes reduced to wiping down with a damp cloth in a hidden corner. In subway stations or fast food restaurants, they sit quietly to avoid attention, yet can still be asked to leave at any moment. A small cut, if left unwashed and untreated, can turn into an infection. Then the hospital becomes a last and costly resort. Mobile clinics try to fill the gap, but resources are stretched thin, and the daily cycle of find food, stay clean, find sleep tightens its grip. Night falls and the problem of where to lie down. When darkness settles, the city changes its rules. In Los Angeles, rows of tents on Skid Row stand shoulder to shoulder like makeshift barricades. In Manhattan, many stay close to streetlights and security cameras. Bags are stacked as pillows, shopping carts tied to poles, ears tuned to every approaching footstep. For them, night is not for rest. It is for reducing risk minute by minute. That vigilance creates its own survival codes. In encampments, people take turns staying awake, trading sleep for shared security. Those living in vehicles cover windows with dark fabric, flatten seats into makeshift beds, and wait for the knock that may come without warning. In New York, the subway becomes a moving shelter. Sit still, ride the line to its end, turn around, avoid attention at all costs. Yet whether in a tent, on a train, or inside a car, the common fear remains the same: being forced to leave immediately. And every eviction comes with a price: lost belongings, drained energy, and a thinner tomorrow. The meal and the defining moment. In both Los Angeles and New York, hunger operates like a train schedule. Arrive on time, and you eat. Miss it by a minute, and you go without. Church distributions, community kitchens, and non-profit food programs run on fixed hours, so people line up before dawn, gripping their few possessions. Those who miss the window collect cans, gather bottles, or take day labor for a few dollars in exchange for a hot meal, just enough to keep the body from collapsing. And once the stomach settles, the next urgency tightens its hold: water. Clean water and a place to wash become another negotiation. Public restrooms are limited, many locked at night. Transit stations or convenience stores serve as fragile anchors, yet a single refusal can disrupt the entire day. Hygiene is not about dignity alone. It is about preventing infection and keeping small wounds from becoming complications. Mobile clinics and outreach teams try to bridge the gap, but resources are always insufficient. And as health deteriorates, the dream of having a legal address drifts further away. The trap of documents and the system. In major cities, homelessness rarely begins with a single bad decision. It is usually a chain reaction: an emergency hospital visit, a layoff, a rent increase, or an escape from domestic violence. Missing just one paycheck can knock someone off a stable track. The fall makes little noise, but it leaves a deep fracture. The cruelest part is that the modern system runs on the very things unhoused people struggle most to maintain: a permanent address, identification documents, and scheduled appointments. Without an address, many employers will not accept applications. Without an ID, job interviews become questions that cannot be answered. Without work, rent remains permanently out of reach. The loop locks itself like a door that only opens from the inside. Even when there is an entry point, such as a shelter or assistance program, barriers remain thick. Curfews, strict rules, crowded spaces, conflict, and theft are constant concerns. Some return to the streets not because they prefer it, but because they fear trading fragile independence for a night of unpredictable risk. When trust has eroded, even a bed can feel unsafe. The hardest part is keeping medical appointments, benefit interviews, or counseling sessions while living without storage, without adequate sleep, and under constant threat of displacement. An appointment slip can fall from a jacket pocket during a rainstorm. A wallet can disappear during a restless sleep. When everything depends on a single piece of paper, losing it can mean losing the opportunity entirely. And that is when it becomes clear. People are not trapped because they are weak. They are trapped because the exit door was designed for those who already hold the key. The shift of those who do not sleep. Night in Los Angeles or New York is not like it appears in films. It is not constantly loud. It quiets in waves, then suddenly changes tone. When the city settles and doors close, those without homes begin their work, finding a place to lie down and still wake up in the morning. In encampments, there is an unwritten discipline. Someone stays awake while someone else sleeps. Not heroism, just instinct. Belongings are tied down, carts locked, blankets pulled tight, ears tuned to unfamiliar footsteps. Trust here is both a lifeline and a risk if misplaced. The greatest fear is not only the cold, but being forced to move. Sweeps can come quickly, and quickly often means losing everything. Blankets, clothing, possessions, sometimes the only items that preserve a sense of dignity. When a sleeping place is uprooted, it feels like being torn from the ground again. People learn to survive without attaching themselves too firmly to anything. In New York, many choose the subway as a moving shelter. They sit still, clutch backpacks, avoid eye contact, and try not to attract attention. They look for seats near lights or cameras, as if to remind themselves, at least here there are witnesses. Yet even there, sleep comes in fragments. A sudden jolt, a loudspeaker announcement, a reminder to move along. On the sidewalk, vigilance replaces warmth. People sleep with half their body at rest, the other half alert to sound and shifting wind. A night passed without losing anything counts as a small victory, and that victory is never free. And as dawn approaches, what they need most is not advice, but a reason to continue one more day. The unlocked door. The truth is, no one can pull themselves out on willpower alone if that same willpower must be spent every night simply to survive. Hope does not live in grand speeches. It lives indoors, open at the right time. A safe parking program, a daytime center offering showers and rest, an outreach worker who returns a third time instead of giving up after the first. Some gestures seem small but change the rhythm of a life. Being called by name, being given clear directions, having procedures explained in a normal tone, like speaking to an equal. A stable place to sleep allows the body to recover. When the body recovers, the mind can focus enough to keep appointments, apply for jobs, seek medical care, and reconnect broken threads. It is not a miracle. It is simply the minimum condition for functioning as a human being. And within every city, some quiet individuals keep it warm in unseen ways. A security guard who gently warns before inspections. A cafe worker who offers an extra cup of hot water. A volunteer who does not interrogate. A mobile clinic doctor who patiently records a name, even knowing it may disappear from the list tomorrow. These fragments of kindness do not solve everything, but they prevent someone from sliding deeper into despair. If you have ever walked past a tent beneath an overpass or someone dozing on a subway seat, remember, behind it is not a social issue, but a life trying to hold itself together. May those without shelter tonight find a safe place, a hand that does not judge, and a morning gentle enough to believe that there is still a path back. Amen. If you want to continue sharing truths that are raw but necessary to face, please like, subscribe to The Homeless Fact, and leave a comment. In your view, What is the unlocked door society should open more often? A bed, an address, or simply being treated as human?